Absolute Wealth. Real investors, real results.
Hey everybody, this is John Carter with Absolute Wealth and another interesting day in the markets. And I'm going to kind of keep things simple tonight. I'm looking at the Thinkorswim platform here and just going to look at the squeeze here on the bottom and then what's kind of going on up here. And the things that I'm looking at here, first of all, I keep talking about this uptrend and how essentially bulls are fighting to hold on to it. And bears, of course, are fighting to push through it. And today, bears, they did a very good job. You can see they actually pushed through the trend. The important thing, though, is that if they can actually close below that level, all right? And we've just had, 1, 2, 3, 4. Essentially, that's a, 5. That was kind of a flat day. 6. So essentially 6 days down in a row. You can see that we had a similar pattern here, and then a similar pattern here. And a lot of times these these patterns kind of play out, and then bam. And it's tough looking at this because this is some nasty action going out there. I mean, this morning things looked fairly ugly. I mean, it was one of those like, wow, maybe bulls are going to lose this today, but they did come back into the close. So at this point, bulls still hold the edge. They still can inflict the most pain on bears, who are now, when you see something like this, I mean, bears just keep getting more short, more short, more short, because what they think is going to happen, of course, is that the market's going to just implode and they're just going to make all this money. But what happens is if bulls can get their act together and they got to cover, we're going to actually go to new highs. So at this point, I still favor the bulls. I got to be honest, they, today it was close and they really got to step it up tomorrow. If we do close below this trend line, tomorrow on Friday, that would not be good. But I think there's a pretty good chance we could rally, barring any really bad news, just from shorts, just kind of getting nervous that the break isn't happening. Okay, so this is a very interesting time in the markets right now. A lot of forces at work. A lot of stuff got selling pressure today. I mean, almost all assets were down, particularly the gold market. Gold for much of the day was fairly weak, but actually rebounded to where it was only, for the GLD, it was only down 40 cents, so not too bad there. Silver, same thing, was down most of the day, but then kind of came back a little bit there towards the end of the day. Oil was under pressure most of the day here, but kind of actually managed to bounce back a little bit there as well. Some of the key stocks like Walmart, they just continue trucking higher. It's almost like Walmart's the new bonds right now. I mean, if you look at stocks like Apple, people are a little worried here. Apple actually came perfectly down to its moving average today and bounced, so it was actually a really good entry. But people look at Walmart as being safe and liquid, so they're piling money into it, much like they're doing to bonds. Okay, and it's funny, like bonds and Walmart look the same, whereas a lot of other stocks are getting beat up by this market. But bottom line is, if we go back and look at the stock market here, this is a tricky time to be sure. And the money in these types of situations is made and lost at these transition points. And where it's lost is if people who are getting long and they're just making these huge bets with no stop losses, if it does just collapse, that's where they can get hurt. And then the people who are short and betting on Armageddon here, if this reverses higher, they're going to get crushed. As a trader, what you want to do here is just be in this, you take some light positions and just wait for a confirmation. For example, one of my favorite confirmations is actually very, very simple. And we can actually zoom in here. And a lot of times for confirmations, you actually don't need a lot of fancy indicators. You just look at price. And on something like this, so here we had this big decline, right? Big decline, big decline, big decline. What you're looking for is a break above, a closing break above the low of the high bar. Okay, so what do I mean by that? It's like, well, here was here's a low. Okay, here's a new low. Did we go above that low, that bar the next day? No. Here's a new low. That's now the low bar. Did we go above that bar the next day? No. And so on, 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 and so on. And here we go. New low bar. Did we go above and close above that bar this day? Yes. So here you can take stabs at the long side with a stop at the lows. Now in this one, depending on whether or not you took profits here, which is, it'd be logical actually to take profits on a move back to that moving average. But if you did get stopped, it wasn't a horrendous stop. We just kind of popped up and came down and stopped out. All right. If you look again, there's another situation here. We come down, 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 and then right here, break above the high-low bar, And then this one turns into a fantastic rally. Okay, same thing here, break above the high of the low bar, nice pop. So right now what I'm looking at is this is now the level. Okay, and if we can break above this level, that's where I want to go long, because that would indicate to me that we're actually ready to get going, and that is the safe entry. Okay, hope that helps. You guys have a fantastic rest of the trading week, and we'll see you at the next update.